We've done this a few weeks back. We've done the best 11, and now we're going to try and do a worst 11. Join us in the comments, of course, down there below. We've got a list. Paul's got one, and I've got one over here, and we're just going to quickly run through the short list and quickly whiz through the table and who's going to pick who. What other keepers there, Paul?
So we've got John Carelsa, Jack Anik, Lionel Perez, and Matt Sells.
So I've got to go John Carelsa. I'll start the ball rolling. Came in, Wood Hullet signing. Had a lot of injuries. We had Tommy Wright. Could have put Tommy Wright in there.
Yeah.
We had a lot of goalkeeping problems at the time, and he came in quite similar to Jack Anik, where both goalkeepers were conceded goals for fun, but for him, for being an experienced Dutch goalkeeper, came over, conceded about 12 goals in about 3 games, and never played for ever again. So I'm going to go John Carelsa. I think it was awful.
Yeah, I think it was just somebody that just picked up off the street, didn't they? I don't think it ever was a goalkeeper before, and it ever was probably afterwards. It was absolutely awful, garbage even. I would have to say Matt Sells, he cost a fair few quid. He came in and he couldn't catch for toffee. Everybody found out straight away when we went down and we started him. If you put a cross in, the lad can't jump, the lad can't catch, his contacts must be out. So for me, probably just marginally Matt Sells. So
Carelsa, Sells. Johnny?
I think Matt Sells for me because of from recent events, but I think Jack Anik as well. He had a very good half against Chelsea. Maybe it's slightly harsh. Maybe talk about Jack Anik, but I remember the game against Tottenham where at White Hart Lane in the League Cup quarter final, and he didn't feel any confidence when he drops a corner. And then the Burnley game where he concedes a goal with about 5 minutes to go. He just never really fills you with confidence. However, Matt Sells, just, I don't know, he was just shocking. Like, I remember the game against, was it Wolves? And it was just like a normal cross, and he was like towards his stomach, and he literally dropped it. It almost went in for a goal. Like, it was so lucky.
Cost us points, didn't he? Left, right,
he did, and I think Rafa had no choice but to drop him for Darlow. But Matt Sells gets the nod for me.
Robert, looks like you've got the deciding factor here.
I do feel harsh in saying this, but Jack Anik. For me, I know John Carelsa was an absolute disaster waiting to happen, and I've only really seen that on the nostalgia DVDs. He did keep a clean sheet though away at Arsenal, but hey, Jack Anik, I mean,
well, lad, local lad.
Yeah, like I said, he was really young at the time as well, and so, but he conceded goals for fun. I mean, at the time, I remember thinking,
did we concede 7 when he was in the net? Was that cruel at Arsenal? Is that another game?
That was cool. That was the year before, I think.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's going to be Mr. Anik, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, every time that he played, I just felt like screaming at the telly, going, "Please, Tim Krul, Rob Elliott, one of you, please just come back.
Bring back Harper."
Yeah. Well, there was talk about that, wasn't it, at the time?
Yeah.
There was talk.
Move to right back, Paul. What is that list?
Yeah, we've got a few corkers in here. We've got Peter Ramage, Stephen Carr, Manquillo, and Danny Simpson.
I'll let you start this one.
Me, sorry. Danny Simpson for me is harsh. I don't think he should be.
A little bit harsh.
I think it's a bit harsh because you got to remember on probably our best season in the last 10 years, he was playing right back and he was steady enough. Defensively, he's steady enough. He couldn't cross a ball, but defensively he was steady enough. For me, I'd probably go with Stephen Carr, and I think it's because at Tottenham we saw that they're probably the best of him. But in Newcastle colours, apart from the goal against Southampton,
he always a goal weight, didn't he, as well? He didn't look like an athlete, did he?
He was carrying a bit of timber, like
neck.
Possibly
out as well.
Stephen Carr for me.
Rob?
For me, it's got to be Stephen Carr. I think it was just a simple case of we had him long after his prime years had long been over, and I just remember, especially in his latter years, opposition just kept on targeting him. He had lots of weaknesses there and kept on costing us points. Yeah.
I'm going to have him Manquillo. Sorry, I know he's a current player. I just worry every time he's in the side where he's playing left back or right back. I just panic and think, God, I could run against Javier Manquillo and beat him. I really could.
That Cardiff game this season with Manquillo.
It's not just that, it's continuous. It's his awareness.
He's had one reasonable game, and
it's his awareness, what's around him.
Yeah, he's not
clueless. And oh man, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, Manquillo straight away.
Split.
Worst, got to be worst ever. Just terrible decisions, poor football intelligence. He could be knitting or doing a crossword as much as he's trying to, defending and get clear the ball. He's absolutely pathetic. Got to be a man here.
So no, it's a split. So we can't have 2 right backs. We've got to narrow it down. So
put in the comments who gets more votes.
I'm happy to change it for Carl if you want to take it off.
You want to drive it to us?
Yeah. I'm happy to change it because I'm not too.
Yeah, they're both awful, aren't they?
So I'm happy to go Carl just for the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Okay. Centre backs, we've got a few. Read them out for us, Paul.
Yeah, so we've got John Allen Boomsong, Marcelino, Titus Bramble, Mike Williamson, Sol Campbell, David Rosnell, Kapake, Good, Gorme and Mue as well. Quite a long list there.
I'll start this one. There's 3 for me, which is Boomsong, Marcelino and Curtis Good. For me, it's one of the, even possibly David Rosnell. So, but Campbell was awful as well. But I think I have to put Marcelino in first. Simple fact is, for 5 years, played about 30 games. What's that? Like six a season? Yeah. It's just not good enough for someone who at that time was a current Spain international centre back. So for me, for him to milk it and literally just get anything out of a game, he wouldn't even play if he had a cramp. For God's sake, awful. And now he's somehow an expert pundit on national TV. So it's for me.
There's hope for anyone really, then, isn't there?
Yeah, there's hope. Yeah. So, Paul, are yours down?
Again, for me, most definitely Marcelino would be top pick. John Allen Boomsong would be next, and then I'd be looking at Sol Campbell. I didn't like his attitude. Didn't like his motivation, his reasons for playing. He was always injured, always complaining. But my top 2 would be Marcelino and Boomsong, head and shoulders above
Johnny?
The rest of them.
For me, I didn't really see a lot of Marcelino, so I can't really say too much about him.
No, we didn't.
But we saw. I think for me, the couple of players I'm probably going to pick out are Boomsong, Bramble, and Kasapa. I think with Boomsong, Rangers got him on a free, and then just 6 months later we decided, let's pay £9.5 million for him. And I think he started out relatively okay, but then it just went dramatically downhill straight after that. Bramble, 1 good game this season, and that pretty much kept him there the next season until we finally gave up on him. He was awful, and then finally Kasapa just was too old. Similar as Campbell. I don't put Sol Campbell in that because he didn't play as many games, and I think he was right. Like literally, I think he had about 1% of battery left in him in Sol Campbell. So I think out of the 3 I've probably picked, I'm going to go for Titus Bramble and John Allen Boomsong.
Rob?
John Allen Boomsong, most definitely. I think we've all gone for that.
So Boomsong makes the side, so there's the first one.
Most definitely. And I'd say for the other one, it's a toss-up between David Rosenhall and Claudio Kasapa, which, out of those 2, it's a tough one. I think I'll go for Kasapa.
So did you say Johnny?
I said Boomsong and Bramble.
So it looks like Marcelino gets
downvoted. Deservedly so, in my opinion.
I don't know how these are not debating that, because Marcelino has to go on that as well.
Marcelino was a little bit before my time.
Just showing off our age, aren't we, Rob?
I have heard.
Literally heart of a flea. Heart of a flea.
Well, honestly, he wouldn't play it. All ourselves plays for the Pain Barrier.
Absolute tart.
Complete opposite.
Yeah. He was a signing by Ruud Gullit, and I've heard stories about Marcelino.
Broken fingernail.
Left backs. Paul.
Yeah, Babiaro, Lazar, Carl Sarand, Wayne Quinn and Alessandro Pistoni.
Start off on this one then.
Yeah, for me, there's some pretty awful there. I want to go for Lazar. There's a reason he can't even get in a very, very poor Italian side when he went in on loan. Bit of a playboy, bit of a show off.
Loves an Instagram.
Yeah, loves an Instagram photo. Bit of a tart, bit of a woman's handbag. Not a footballer to me. Stealing a living. So Lazar.
For me, I'm going to go for Celestine Babiaro. Similar to Stephen Carr, we saw the best of him at a different club. We saw the best of him at Chelsea. He came to Newcastle, and he just, I don't know. I think he ran out of energy. He ran out of energy very, very quickly. I think what saved him was his set piece deliveries, and that, he kind of saved himself a little bit. But he was just out of position most of the time, and I think he needed the centre half to I think it was mainly Stephen Taylor. I think Stephen Taylor was trying to get him, trying to help him really, and you would have think it'd be the other way round, experience helping on the young.
Just a mercenary when he come from Chelsea, he just wanted a last pay packet. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think Babiaro for me.
Rob?
Yeah, I call that Babayaro. I have to say that Lazar and Pistone, they are close seconds, but I think Babayaro, on the basis that he did play regularly, Lazar has hardly played. Pistone,
Well, he's got to have all them Instagram pictures. Rob, come on. How else he's got to have pictures shopping and on boats and lazing around and half naked.
Shirts on.
Yeah.
Babayaro, similar to Stephen Carr, we just had him in the years long after his prime.
Am I right in saying that Babayaro didn't find a club after us, and he was still really young, wasn't he? 30, 31. I'm sure I didn't play
That's
any.
how bad he was in the end, wasn't it?
I'll go Babayaro about this.
Says a lot, doesn't it?
Pistone runs him close because of consistency. But Babayaro, man, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice as can. Probably guess we're playing 4-4-2 traditionally, if you didn't get that already. And we'll move over to right midfield. A bit short on numbers because most of these there's a few who can play across midfield. But Paul, run us through them.
Yeah, we've got Jeremy, Obertan, Cabela, and the world's best footballer, surprisingly, Sissoko. He's Champions League quality. Do you know that?
At the start of this one, I was so tempted to go for Sissoko because of what he used to pipe up and say, but on the pitch he's not as bad as Remy Cabela. For me, I'm going to have to go with Cabela. So he went to St Etienne from Marseille because he couldn't get on from the bench. When he was here, man, he's just lightweight, very, very skinny lad. I think best ever game was his whole away one, number one, but apart from that, it was shocking. No delivery, scared of a challenge. Most of it was substitute appearances, so Remy Cabela for me. Rob, we'll go that way.
Cabela, he was an absolute joke, but my vote goes to Jeremy on this one. Like, he has to be in this side. He was an absolute he was so lazy.
How did he get captain?
Absolutely no idea. And just looked like you needed a Zimmer frame to get around.
Probably the most paid player. Probably
Back to heart, you wouldn't know that he used to play for Real Madrid and Middlesbrough when they were regulars in European football.
Probably all that smoke that messed with his head. Probably.
But yeah, Jeremy definitely gets my vote on that one.
Johnny?
I think there's a case for 3 out of the 4. I think Sissoko's a little bit harsh. I know he left Newcastle in a bad way, but I don't think he's the worst I've seen out of those 4. Obertan, for me, I think should be getting more of a mention. Like, he was awful. Like, he was really bad. It was strange because he had the pace, but he just couldn't get past the player. Like, it was amazing to watch. Like, someone with so much pace couldn't just knock the ball back past the past the fullback, and then just either take a cross or have a shot on goal. It was just woeful, really. But I'm going to agree with Rob. I'm going to go for Jeremy. I think Jeremy, for me, very versatile, but was very, very bad at the same time. And I agree with Rob. He was so slow. It was ridiculous. He would get the ball away. He just didn't care. He didn't care to play for the Newcastle shirt. And people that would die to play for the Newcastle shirt. And I think, for me, Jeremy gets my vote.
Paul?
Yeah, to me it was Obertan, headless chicken. Looked like one as well. When he signed for Man United, he was the next big thing, and now he's playing in what some
French second division. Is
no, I think he's somewhere way out. It's somewhere like Kazakhstan or something. It's something absolutely diabolical. He was headless chicken. He'd get past a player and then just run back to it so he could have another go. And it's like he needed arrows on his boots. He was so frustrating to watch. He had pace to burn, but again it comes down to football intelligence, of which he had zip, and how anybody thought he'd be like the next David Beckham or something. Head's gone. So
it looks like we're outvoted then.
Yeah,
so it looks like it's going to be Jeremy, who's a right midfielder. I was telling the story about Gabby Obertan when he first signed for Newcastle. It's a true story, this. He was standing in Idols, the original Idols in the city centre. They're not there anymore. He was standing there with a triple vodka Red Bull, and he was standing on his own in the corner just watching everybody, straight faced. And it's Gabby Obertan. There we go.
Oh, there's a few idol buggers on this list.
Right.
There's never an idol at Newcastle, though, was there?
Centre midfield, please, Paul.
Centre midfield, we've got Silvio Maric, Christian Becerras, Stephen Ireland, Frank Dumas, Des Hamilton, who I saw score, Henri Savé, Faye, can't remember which one we said, Amdify, and CM de Jong.
Tough.
Help.
Yeah. We need 2 out of here.
Stephen Ireland's pushing me a little bit more. We've done a rerun of this video before and I didn't have him in that lineup, but to come here and play 2 games, the substitute appearances as well, I've got to go for Stephen Ireland, because before that at Manchester City, before all the money come in, the first season wasn't he their best player of the year?
He was arguably one of the better players, definitely.
And then got injured, I think, and came to us. And
he went to Villa. Went to Man City, then he went to Villa.
Did he?
And he couldn't get into Villa's squad, and then Villa said, we'll put you on loan for half a season. And he came to Newcastle. And
weren't we the lucky ones?
Well, he played 2 games, played against Man United. He came on as a substitute with a massive round of applause and played half an hour, and then played the first half against Blackpool and got injured and we never saw him again.
I'm going to go on Stephen Ireland. I think it's just because of the lack of playing time. 2 substitute appearances and it's awful. I'm going Stephen Ireland the first one. I've got to go Silvio Maric. I have to. How he played for Croatia that many times and how he played for Porto.
A great Croatian team. When we signed him, it was really exciting.
And everybody.
You're thinking, wow, this could be a huge player.
How he went on to play for Porto after us as well. I don't know what Porto's seen in him, but he was just basic. He was meant to be a creative midfielder and he was so basic, and he never, for me, got more than a 6. Yes, you probably say he played a lot of games, which probably goes in his favour, but for me I'm going to go Ireland and Maric.
Yeah.
Paul?
Looking at them, there's some corkers. I'm going to go for Ireland for just the same reasons. It's just terrible, absolutely awful. And because I saw it, he did actually score a goal, Des Hamilton, and I was there in the flesh, so I'm going to have to go for Des Hamilton.
Even though you've seen him score?
Yeah, I've seen him score, and that's like a claim to fame. That was my first game, him and Ian Rush.
2-0 win.
So I've got to go. I mean, we've had some absolute.
So you're going for those 2?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'd put the army in there. Sometimes I don't like him too much, to be honest. But yeah, I'd say definitely Stephen Ireland. I'm going to go Des Hamilton.
All right, you, Johnny?
Garbage.
I'm going to go for Stephen Ireland as well, just because I think he could have offered a lot more. I think he could have actually resurrected his career at Newcastle. I think he would have been given the opportunity to do so. I'm going to go for Henri Saivet because I've not really seen the others play, and I have seen Henri Saivet play. It just, for me, he played a couple of games at St James's under the McLaren days, the glory days, McLaren, and he just didn't light up anything at all. So I'd probably say Henri Saivet as well, along with Stephen Ireland.
Rob?
Without doubt, you've got to have Shem de Jong in there. I think that's the only time he's been mentioned here. But everything that you're supposed to have 2 of in your body, he has 1 of, or at least 1 working thing of. And
McLaren's trying to pension them onto the.
Yeah, and then there was that sitter against Aston Villa in that really important game in December 2015. Just so much about him. It was just head in hands moment. You know, if it was off the pitch, injury news, news that he was coming back, and then next day, he's sort of he sort of trod on a pin again. And then I'd say
it's a shame, isn't it? Because when you signed him again, another player with huge promise, huge potential, captain in his team before, and you're thinking
did well.
Brilliant.
Did well after us as well. I had a spell. So who are you going? De Jong?
Yeah, I'm going for De Jong, and to partner him, that is a tough one, but I'll go for Silvio Maric. My early days of supporting the club, and absolutely.
Ireland and Maric.
So it looks like Ireland and Maric, not a Maric made in heaven, that one.
It is not.
So Ireland and Maric will be our 2 centre midfielders, and then we'll come across to left midfield. Paul.
So we've got Damien Duff, Cobshite, Stephen Glass, Sammy Amiobi, Gonzalez and Georgiadis. It's a shame, his name was perfect for the team. We've got Pancrat and we've got Albert Luque.
Wrapped it up.
Big one.
I'm tempted to go on Damien Duff because he was awful that year but went down. Big name. But I've got to go Albert Luque. I have to.
You've got to.
9.5 million. big reputation. Spanish international at the time. Massive in La Liga, Deportivo, shadow of his former self. I know I've got that song, and he's only in it because we scored that goal.
My little girl loves that song.
But I don't know. You need to tell her about him. For me, he couldn't beat his man. He couldn't cross. He wasn't consistent. Scared of a tackle. Couldn't even track back.
People will say that he wrapped it up though.
Well, when he did, he's sitting there. I'm sorry. It was almost apologetic.
Money.
And huge money.
Do you think that £9.5 million is worth for that 1 goal against Sunderland?
No, I would have it. He's got to be.
We'd have won anyway.
Well, he just wrapped it up. Well, only 3-1 up, weren't we? Albert Luque for me. Just not enough goals as well. Not enough games. Lost his confidence. Shadow.
Yeah, it's got to be. Marcelino's mate, isn't it? At the end of the day, Albert Luque. Yeah, second vote. Seconded that.
For me, I'm going to go for Sammy Amiobi. Quite controversial, I think, because he's obviously with his brother doing okay at the club. But it was between him and Gonzalez. Gonzalez was a Dennis Wise buy. How has he got a job at Sky? I don't know, but the less said about him, the better. But Sammy Amiobi, but the problem is he just never really had that end product. I think he had maybe one half decent cross every 4 games. I think that was probably the biggest issue with Sammy Amiobi, was just his lack of delivery. He was a bit of a one-trick pony as well. I'll say Sammy Amiobi.
And finally, Rob.
Okay, you got about a short list of 3 there. You got Albert Luque. He was terrible. Ignacio Gonzalez still hurts me after what happened with Keegan. As a result of that, but for me it's got to be Sammy Amiobi. And now I'm not entirely sure how true this is, but I think there's a mate. He's a friend of mine who I think is also one of our followers, our quite avid viewers and followers and what have you. He went to school with Sammy Amiobi and grew up with him, and there were a lot of people that were better than him, and only got into the Newcastle squad because he was Shola's brother. Shola. And also, apparently Sammy Amiobi once nicked some magnesium from the science department, and then he did the worst possible thing straight after. He went and played football, so the sweat in his trousers reacted with the magnesium, and his trousers caught fire. And again, I'll reiterate.
That's got to be rubbish. You've got to be rubbish.
I am not. I'm not sure how true that is. I'm not sure how true that is.
Surely Sammy Amiobi's never been on fire in his life. So kind of be
2 for Luque, Amiobi, and
Amiobi.
Oh dear.
I'll move towards Luque because you went before on the other one. I'll go Luque.
Yeah. So we got Luque in there. Wrapped it up.
Wrapped it up on the left midfield.
Yeah.
And
up the top.
2 strikers, which there's tons. Fire away, Paul.
Niall Danger Ranger, Stefan Guivage, Chef Gucci, Andreas Anderson, Cal Court, Cisco Kid, Paul Robinson, Paul Dalglish, Emmanuel Riviere, Daniel Cordoni, Ian Rush, Doumbia, and Luke de Jong.
I'll begin on this one. I'm torn with 2 out of 3 here, so I'm going to have to say Cisco. Dennis Wise scored on his debut, played a couple more games, ended up playing in some Thailand league. That says it all.
For $1.
And then Emmanuel Riviere, 1 goal, and he didn't even mean it, kicked it off his own foot. It goes in the back of the net, loaned out for 2 to 3 years to see if he can revitalise his career. That never happened. So it's him. And the third one, it's probably going to have to be Doumbia, because he came in, he played in total about 50 minutes in his whole 6 months at the club. But I could say Givosh as well as another one. But I'm going to have to go Cisco and Riviera up top for me. Frighten the life out of you.
I would like.
Paul?
Again, so bad, and you could have really had a Joslo. I was being kind when not putting him on the shortlist. But for me, Niall Ranger, little
attitude problem,
wannabe, prick, arrogant, waste of oxygen,
thief. Most
definitely oxygen thief. So Niall Ranger's got to be in there. And then you're looking at Cisco and Riviere. It's such a toss-up. Riviere and Ranger.
Let's go, Rob.
Yeah, Riviere's got to be in there for definite. And then it's a long list as to who could partner him. And I've been chopping and changing these past few minutes, but yeah, I think it's got to be Niall Ranger. He's just an absolute joke of a player, man. I mean,
it's his attitude more than his talent.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, well, his attitude got in the way of his potential talent, without doubt. And then just his antics, really.
He's a gangster.
Let's not forget. I mean, this is a player who has had to miss matches because of his what do you call it? Curfew.
Well. Yeah. Johnny?
Riviere for sure. Yeah. He was just awful. Like you used to get so frustrated with watching him because you just knew he was never going to score in the month of Sundays. And he played like he started Steve McLaren's last game against Bournemouth when we had Mitrovic on the bench. And I just remember going, I cannot believe he's done that. He's literally written his own death warrant. He really has. But No, he was awful for Newcastle. 1 goal, which he didn't even mean it against QPR. And partner was Luke de Jong for me. In that 13-14 season, we were praying for a big name player to come in after the sale of Kabay, and we thought, Luke de Jong, wow, brilliant player we've got on our hands here. He's actually doing quite well for PSV now, but when he was at Newcastle, he just couldn't score. I remember going to Southampton away, we got beat 4-0, and he had a chance at 3-0. Literally, he couldn't be more than 3 yards out with a header, and he missed it, and it was he was woeful. Yeah, Luke de Jong and Riviere for me.
So Riviere is definitely in there, and I think we've been outvoted, so Nile Ranger. So, who is the man to take us down? Who's going to relegate we from this list? Paul, please read that out.
Well, such a prestigious list we've got here. We've got the world's best manager, never mind the Premier League, the world's best manager, John Carver. We've got Steve McLaren. We've got Rude Sexy Football Hullet. We've got Dawes Souness, and we've got Joe effing Kinnear. That's our list.
Right, Johnny, who are you going with?
For me, it's between 2. I think it's between Carver and Kinnear for me. I know McLaren spent a lot of money, but I think with his kind of overall managerial reputation or coach reputation, I think pretty much saves him. I'm going to go for Joe Kinnear. I think he marginally beats John Carver, but it was a very close one for me. Joe Kinnear came in after Keegan left the club, and I don't think he could have done a worse job if he tried. His formations were terrible. His
contact book.
Yeah, he just couldn't galvanise the team. I can remember a game against Liverpool where Sheikh, if it wasn't for Sheikh Given, it could have been 20-0. I'm not even joking, or 21, because we were awful. We had some poor players in the squad, but the management style wasn't great. John Carver was poor, and all he was asked to do was to win 3 games in 17 or something, or 16, and he just about did that. But for me, Joe Kinnear, especially when he came back to the club as well, and Johan
Kabay.
No
professionalism, the way he went on about calling players and effing and remember the interview with Simon Bird?
That press conference, it was
50 odd times effing and blinding.
It was
150.
Wow.
It was an absolute shame, and it was so unprofessional, and he made us into a mockery again, which I think
Which the press loves.
so I've got to go for Joe Kinnear for that for me.
Rob?
It's all of those managers. They're really bad for different reasons. But I'd say it's between 2. You got Ruud Gullit, who completely divided the squad off the field, and that caused a lot of more harm than good on the field. But yeah, you can't get better. You can't get worse than John Carver. You just can't, when you're desperately needing just one more win to keep you up in the league. Let alone,
He had a goal at Mike Williamson, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was that. Were we 7th or 8th? We were in that vicinity, weren't we, when Pardew left and Carver took over? And the fact that we just stayed up on the final day.
I'll tell you what, John Carver has on record that he kept Newcastle in the Premier League. Just throwing it around there. So I'll have to go for Steve McLaren. It's a simple fact. Look, you've got the idiots who people don't know the club say Rafa got relegated. That he didn't. People say that Shearer got relegated on the previous time, but it was events during the season.
Yeah.
For me, Steve McLaren got us relegated. He came in. Newcastle bizarrely wanted him 2 or 3 times, tried to get him, and just awful. The thing is, Ruud Gullit, bad things. Souness, bad things. Those 2 never got relegated. I know they had good sides, don't get me wrong. Kinnear was on the way to get me down as well. Carver saved us. I'm not going to pick on John Carver, so I'm going to go and
I don't know what I'm doing, Alan. I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm going to go McLaren because the simple fact the football there was toxic. It was atmospheric. When you've got fans running on the pitch wanting to throw the season ticket at you, there's something wrong with you there. And his choice was made that Bournemouth defeat, that 3-1. Matt Ritchie scored that game, didn't he? He played in it as one of the 2. Well, he would have played if he scored. That doesn't make sense.
Actually, no, he didn't score. It was Stephen Taylor on goal, Josh King, and Charlie Daniels.
Yeah, there we go, Mr. Statman. But for me, McLaren, because just simple things, man, and it's crappy. Just didn't want him.
Middlesbrough did exactly the same thing, where he threw season tickets on him.
Yeah.
And then he beat Chelsea the week after or something stupid.
McLaren for me. But
again, you could make a case for each and every one of them. Joe Kinnear, when you compare him to somebody like Rafa or Bobby, with the dignity that they've got, the utter disgracefulness of that man, it no end. But I think again, McLaren, the money he had and the disregard and the man's arrogance makes him a strong candidate. I mean, Hullet, with all this sexy football and trying to tell Alan Shearer how he needs to play football,
Still
I
took
find
us to
that
the FA Cup final.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
But he took us through there, took us to the cup final. So for me, it has to be good old Steve McLaren.
Oh,
It's got to be.
Steve's got it.
Fair
Steve,
enough.
you already sent us down, and you're sending us down once more with this team. This is absolutely shocking from you. And that is our team. That's our worst 11. Let us know what you lot think. And this is just Premier League era. And please do a 4-4-2 formation as well. Cheers. Bye bye.